Hey there, Alexis Ginsberg here, product designer in the plan stage. I've been working with Katie Macoy, the designer in package, on creating this UX scorecard around the job to be done of basically keeping registries organized and maintaining storage costs. So Katie has very helpfully laid out some scenarios here for me to walk through so that I could evaluate this job to be done. And I'm really stepping into the shoes of a new user. So for this new user, at their organization, all packages must be published from Maine. All packages published from Maine should always be kept. The latest version of a package should always be kept. All packages except those protected from rules 1 and 2 by rules 1 and 2 older than 2 weeks old should be removed. All image tags named latest should always be kept. All image tags except those protected from rule 4 by rule 4, I keep saying from, older than 2 weeks should be removed. So I have all these rules, and in order to complete this scenario or kind of evaluate this job to be done, I first need to try to determine the storage used by items in the package and container registry, and then the total storage used by each registry. And I also need to remove unused items from the registries based on my organization's rules, which are listed above. So Katie did a great job going through that for me. It seems pretty clear. What I'm going to do now, actually what I already did, but I will show you, is walk through these scenarios in a test environment she's created for me, and kind of go through this as a new user, as I mentioned before, and record any insights I see going through this, and any maybe frustrations or anything I think is really great. Take note of that as well. So I will commence that recording and then I'll come back later to go through scoring. See you soon. Okay, so I'm going to start going through these scenarios. So I want to first determine the storage used by items in the package and container registry. So I'd go here. So there's 2 items there, package registry and container registry. Okay. And I want to determine storage used. All right, well, as a new user, I would definitely go here. And I probably would have read this before, getting into anything in the project. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out, because these are 2 different registries and then by each registry, so, Anyway, let's look at this. So each item has a size. I can't sort by size or anything like that, or can I? No. I think I might expect that if that's important, or I would expect to be able to click up here to view, maybe click here, or just have size or something listed here if that's important. Same with this. But I like all the metadata up here, that's nice. I'm clicking in here to see if there's analytics around the package. Container registry, don't see anything, we're going crazy. Just confused. Am I missing like an aggregate? I think I might expect to see the tags there, if it's important, I guess. And I can't click into these. Okay. Just kind of looking around everywhere. I like our empty states. Okay. I mean, am I supposed to add them? I wouldn't think so. Oh, I can't. Huh. Okay, so I went down like a little wormhole looking at the docs. I looked at different docs and then I found this and I was like, cool, that makes sense. Look in settings, but I don't have access to settings here. Sorry, within here. So I'm gonna kind of like go through the different locations that this is housed and see if I can get, no. So I don't have access to settings, so I can't look at the usage quotas. So I would have to manually go through and calculate, or I guess maybe like, can I upload it? I don't know. I would have to go through and add these all together. So that's kind of painful, but I know it can be done. I just don't have permissions to view that. So that might be nice to have at a higher level. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. Okay, so yeah, I can't really, I can do this. I understand what, each item is, but I can't look at it for the entire registry. And I also think it would be nice if I could just see the size here maybe, and then maybe like the size here as well. Okay. So removing items based on my organization's rules. Okay, so I got to keep everything from Maine. Latest versions should be kept, but everything else older than 2 weeks should be removed. Okay. So the latest version should be kept, then I would probably, I guess I would sort by version, not published, because it's the version, not necessarily the date, I think, that matters, but that might be kind of confusing to me as a non-expert. Okay, so, but everything, okay, the latest one in everything from Maine, but everything else 2 weeks older. Okay, well, I would keep this because this is the latest version. I'm assuming this is, how do I know if it's from Maine? Do I have to click into each? No, I doubt it. Hold on. Oh, wait. Okay, so I see Maine up there. Yeah, okay. I was assuming that would be here. Why is the icon different, though? I don't know why the icon's different. Okay, well, anyway, so I would keep this one, keep that one. It'd be nice if I could go through and like bulk select, right? So I didn't have to like delete one by one. Let's see what that experience is like just for fun though, okay? Yeah, okay, so if I have to do that every time, yeah, and it didn't work, but if I had to do that every time, that would be kind of frustrating because it's like 2 clicks every time I want to delete versus maybe just selecting many at once and then deleting. And then, I mean, I guess if a user selects more than one, you could just have kind of a log and have them really confirm, right? Like a modal maybe, and confirm that they want to delete it. All right, so that's how I would do that. What about this? Image tags, named latest, need to be kept. Okay, but all others older than 2 weeks should be deleted. I just want to look at this too. These all, like I said earlier, I don't, 4 tags. Sorry, just deciphering. I guess I don't know off the bat what the tags means by that. I guess like how it ties to releases, I guess. I think just because I come from plan, tags kind of mean something different to me. So I'm like, oh, and like this looks like a label. It's just the icon. I know it's a tag icon, but they look similar and they kind of mean similar things, right? Label and tag. So to me, I'm like, oh, a tag means like a workflow step or a category for this thing, right? But again, I think it's just because I'm not the ideal user, quote unquote. But okay, what was I doing? Anything named latest should be kept, but everything else can be deleted. Okay, what's named latest? Is anything named latest? What does that mean? Do I have to go here? So, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, so, all right, so it's saying, all right, so I could delete anything older than 2 weeks. Let's make sure, yep, these are older than 2 weeks. So I would delete that. I like that I can bulk select. I like all the little skeleton loaders. I like that you said that was successful. Maybe it could be more real time and just have like a toast, right? Something like that. So I think, I mean, it might, I don't know. I think what I would expect is to just see these tags here and almost like see everything else here too. I don't know how large this page gets or like how complex, but it might be nice to just have like an accordion almost and just like expand this page so I didn't have to go to another page to look at each thing. And then like if a user is going in here to delete tags a lot, I could see it being kind of frustrating to come in and like, you know, go into each thing and delete stuff versus if everything was at that top level, I could just expand, right? And then like maybe bulk select here and then delete. I also noticed it looks like the tags aren't updating, so I deleted 3 tags and there's only 1. So it says 1 here, but then it says 4 here. Let's try reloading. Okay, so I just had to reload. I get it. That's there's issues like that in Plan 2, but I think can you like force I don't know, something. That's kind of weird because I think I'd clicked back and forth trying to figure out what's going on there. And then I can't bulk delete these. So I wonder why like this pattern is different than, oh, it's not. Okay. For some reason I don't remember seeing the trash cans over here. I don't know why. Okay. I think maybe also if you added the, like a book or just, you know, like a checkbox, you could just add delete up, you know, somewhere up here, right, as an option, and then have it expose either at all times and like not enabled until someone clicks the checkbox, or just have it appear when someone clicks the checkbox, because that way you don't have to repeat this icon all the time. And you could also add in like other actions up here, or where, sorry, anywhere, wherever, the like bulk type actions, right? Maybe they would like pop in here after you selected one of these, something like that, right? Maybe it could be like kind of like how Plan does, but like edit, right? Or configure or whatever. And then when that happens, you could do the bulk selection or bulk applying to these things. But overall, this is cool. I don't know. This icon is kind of strange to be used here. I think it means publish, like that's what it's trying to indicate, but that's what we use for like import exports. So I wanted to click it. But otherwise, let's see, just try a few other things. I don't know what that's doing anything, is it? Did that copy something? Yes, okay. It'd be nice to have like a indication or like, so, okay, I didn't see that for some reason. I guess I wasn't hovering long enough, but maybe when you click it, there's some kind of indication that it was copied, right? Maybe toast or just like a little micro interaction here. But other things make sense. I wonder if you want any of this to be interactable, right? Like, do I need to be able to click into a version and learn more about it, or should there be a pop over here to like learn more about you, or any of these metadata items or the attributes? Let's see, anything else? Yeah. Oh, okay, so this is, I'm assuming, confidential. So maybe like, I think like overall like more hover interactions, like maybe knowing, or not confidential, sorry, it's visible. I think that, I don't know what that means. So maybe stuff like that would be kind of helpful. Like even like everything, just having like a hover to understand what these items mean. Maybe even like this, right? Just like say, oh, it's a version. Or you could add like a table maybe, right? Like with version, and then have all these listed. But I mean, that's like, it depends on how you want to design it. Just looking through to see if there's any other feedback I can give. I'm assuming everyone knows what all these mean, but maybe explanation on like what this means, right? Or like, is that something I need to take action on? Okay. So this, I don't think the tooltip would say that, right? It would say like copy whatever it is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah, like the tooltip can say what you're actually copying, and then you copy it, right? Okay. Like, yeah, like just don't list the path of the thing you're copying there. Like show what the action is the user's taking. And then boop, boop, boop. Why, okay, so does this mean when it was updated as the eyeball, I guess? So again, just kind of like maybe explaining what these mean, or I'm not sure if that's the right icon. So we use that as a confidentiality in our project. So thinking through that could be helpful. And otherwise, show what this is copying maybe. Okay, so again, like I don't know what this needs to be in a tooltip. You can just say copy this, copy manifest digest, I guess, or something like that. Okay. There's a lot of information. I don't know exactly what all of it means, and I think like more tooltips and stuff like that, it would be a little helpful, or just some help text and all. But again, I'm not someone who uses this every day, so it's not, other people may be a little bit more educated in what they're doing. Okay. Oh, I see you have like a little bulk deletion thing, which is, oh yeah, I mean, I already use that, but I like that. And the selected state is kind of cool. I wonder if this should actually be like an accordion icon, like a chevron. I don't know. Because this would, to me, imply there's a menu, right? Like that's going to pop out this way. That doesn't imply that I'm expanding and collapsing. So maybe using expand and collapse instead, something like that, like here, right? Like that makes me think that there's a menu that's going to drop down. And this makes me think a menu is going to drop out that way, or pop out, or I don't know. Words are hard right now. Cool, but I couldn't complete the first part because I don't have access to settings, but I could, I could complete the job. It's just kind of frustrating, right? Like I have to manually do all this. And, gather the stored information for each object, but I could do it. It's just frustrating when you don't have the right permissions. And the second part with tags was more straightforward, but kind of like a lot of clicks, I feel like I said before, like maybe just bringing some of these items out and just kind of plopping them at the surface level if possible. And kind of like labeling. I'm just trying to think, if you don't want the entire page at that level, maybe you could even have like tags, like I don't know, like some kind of popover, right? And then when you click it, you just see the tag descriptions, and maybe you could delete from there. I don't know. That's probably like too risky, but I'm just trying to think of ways to expose this information. Or can you like, I don't know, just having these exposed as like easier to delete might be cool, but yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm going to score this and I will post it, but thanks for listening. I know I'm kind of rambly. I just wanted to record in case this was helpful. And then I'm going to go have some coffee now, but Talk to you later. Bye. So based on the scenario we walked through just a moment ago, I've recorded some insights here using Mural, going through kind of a sort of a journey, again, as a new user. So if we go through the stages that we just went through, step by step, first we located the packages in registries, basically, section, tried to find those general areas. That was fairly easy. We have this area called packages and registries, and then within that is package container. So that was fairly straightforward. I did note that maybe we can make some kind of more generic label here or navigation item that encompasses more than just package and container. Moving on, then we determined storage use by singular items in the package and container registry. So I went to each of those items in the navigation and then had to look at each sub item, I guess, within each page. So I went to package registry and I looked at those items within there and I had to click into each of those. I went into the container registry and I clicked into each repo and looked at those image tags, as you can see below or above. And this was a little more difficult. There was some things I noted, like I can't sort or filter by item size within this list view, so I can't sort or filter the sizes of the items within the container and package registries. I'm also required to click into each item to view the sizes of each of these items. So as you can see here, I'm looking at root image. I had to click into that to view all this information, or here I'm looking at this string Maven PG. I had to click into that from the package registry list to view more information about the size. So, maybe that's perhaps more clicks than necessary. Maybe we could just show information about the size within the list view. So kind of like if you're looking at an issue list, like can we just show the size, surface this a little bit more and just show this within the list view next to each item or below the title, something like that. Also, there's a count, right, next to the titles of these objects in the list view. And again, like I can't interact with that count. It's just a count. Maybe when I hover on that or click on that, that's where some more information could pop up about, for example, what tags are within this repo, or what, rather than just saying there's two, could it say what the title is, things like that, what the sizes of them are. Maybe it expands, maybe it's a popover, who knows. So next step, again, we wanted to determine the total storage used by each registry. This was probably the most frustrating part of this experience. And I think that it's partly due to, just kind of like a case encountered within the test environment setup, right? I don't know how often users would encounter this, but I wouldn't assume never. So this is where I didn't have settings available to me in this environment. So there was really no way for me to view the aggregate of all the sizes of each registry. So I kind of clicked around. I looked at the docs. I had to Google to find information about this, right? There was no contextual data there or a docs link. I just had to kind of like Google around. But then the docs were helpful, but they didn't mention permissions for settings. So I was still confused why I didn't have settings. I tried looking in analytics because that kind of made sense, right? Like not related to value stream, but like in analytics, I thought maybe I would see something related to registries here. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of confusing, and I could have perhaps calculated and aggregated all the data myself, but that would be a lot of adding. So maybe I could have gotten that job done, but it was very, very hard, and I would be very confused if I wasn't already a user and didn't know why sometimes settings doesn't appear. So yeah, that was a little confusing. Maybe we could just display the aggregate information, right? Outside of settings, definitely. I think that's something that could be explored. I don't know that it needs to be tied to permissions. I mean, I'm not really sure, but maybe that you could do a couple of those, like maybe it doesn't really matter what level, what permissions you have or where you are in the organization, you could still view that information. Maybe have contextual guidance, right? Like on this. So instead of having to Google the docs, I would have information somewhere that's like, okay, well, you have to go to settings to view this. I mean, probably not ideal, but maybe MVC. And I think it would be cool maybe if you could provide some tips on like, okay, like here's some items you can delete, or I don't know, like, oh, you're over your storage, like recommended storage, or I don't know, good storage hygiene, quote unquote, whatever that means, giving some ideas there. But in general, it'll tie into a theme I'm going to mention probably a lot of like, can you just kind of surface this data somewhere within the list? Like just show me this data within the package registry or the container registry. There's already some great metadata and like information surface there, so just put it there. So next we had to identify packages published from Maine, right? So that we could, think about those rules again and what to delete. This was, again, it wasn't hard, but it was a little confusing. Some of it was due to iconography. So the main icon is the same as the merge request icon. So I think I overlooked it at first, as you can see here. It's not totally apparent what main means, right, within the UI and how this relates to publishing. That was another thing. I'm kind of like, these look like different pieces of information, but really they're telling me, they're part of the same kind of system. So like, this is telling me this is published to Maine. This is telling me it's manually published, but I wouldn't assume that these pieces of information were related. So that was a little confusing. And also the icon for Maine, it's different in this view versus the individual item view. So if I clicked into this, or this one, for example, this icon changes. So that was a little confusing as well. So again, a lot around iconography. And that's probably a small thing. Like, can you create something that users would expect to see? Make that a little more obvious and decouple it from merge requests, if that makes sense. And then also, is there a way to kind of show that these are similar, right? Manually versus Maine, or better tie publishing into Maine, like publish to Maine, maybe I could say, just changing that copy. And then also just a side note, this is related to import and export, this icon usually. So that's another icon that's a little confusing. So then we get a little happier. It gets easier when we're trying to identify package versions, because again, we want to find the latest version. So we navigated to the package registry. We sorted the list by version, which I think was great. It was a little confusing. I'm not really sure what the logic is behind sorting by version, but I don't know, that's kind of a complicated thing. But I was just wondering, how does this work across different packages, right? So what does it mean if you have 3 different packages with a bunch of different versions? How do you sort package A versus package B by version? So I don't know, like which latest shows up first? I guess probably by publish, but I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. Anyway, so then we looked at the numbers in the list, right? So first I kind of looked at these. And again, another theme is that like there's a lot of things you can't really interact with. So I was clicking and hovering and trying to figure out what this meant. I was assuming it meant a version, right? So like I just looked at this first. I didn't even look at this. I didn't even look at the badge. I was just looking at these numbers and kind of like correlating latest version there. But then I did see the badge. The badge I think makes sense, but I don't really understand what is the relationship between latest and experimental. I don't really know what that's trying to tell me, or like why they are similar. As I noted here. And again, the version numbers are not really labeled as version numbers. Like there's no icon or hover state, etc., to guide me to know that these are versions. I just kind of assume that. And lastly, like, I don't really know, I don't know if it matters, but like the difference between the version date and the published date, I'd be interested in knowing what that difference is and like what that means to me. So next, we had some issues with a lot of clicks. When we wanted to delete one or many packages, we clicked on the trash can near a package and we clicked to delete it, and then we had to say yes. So if you had to do that many times, that could be really frustrating because there's no bulk select and delete, which I think would be helpful. Also irreversible, like some of the language here could be a little confusing. I don't know, I'm probably being picky, but yeah, I think we could explore adding bulk deletion, things like that. It's done elsewhere in the experience, so that's great. But this could also help with the repetition of the trash can icon, kind of getting rid of that. And then also, if we do end up doing a bunch of bulk deletion, I mean, maybe you could have some kind of review experience, like show what's being deleted, and the user can configure it in that modal, and then they delete all at once. Or maybe there's even like, I don't know, an archive where they can undo stuff, who knows, but I think the bulk deletion is the big thing there. Then things just get better from there. So we identify image tag names or titles because we want to look for latest. We've moved on to the container registry because we've already deleted the packages we needed. We click into an image repo and we view the image tag names or titles in the list view to find latest. So again, kind of that like show me more context thing. So hovering or clicking on the tag count, it didn't display any information. It didn't, show me anything. So like I kept clicking or hovering here to see maybe I could see the list of names, things like that, or just any information about what tags are included. I also, I'll mention it, but like, could that expand this section, or can you just list this here somehow, right? Just less clicks. Like, do I need to click into this to view this information? I don't know. Kind of, again, this is just me being new, but the title is container registry, but everything I think is pertaining to image repos, not containers, or I don't know what container exactly means. It literally, is it just a container? I don't know. But anyway, it could be confusing to less advanced users like me. Maybe some description, but you have this saying for image repos, which is great, but I had to be like, okay, I guess these are image repos, not containers or whatever that means, because there's 4, and I experimented with this to see if the count reduced when I deleted things, so that could maybe be confusing. Like tag icon, again, iconography, it looks really similar to our label icon, and then sometimes we call labels tags. So that was a little confusing to me at first. I mean, I got it, but I wonder if other people would be confused by that as well. So yeah, we could show more information about tags when hovering or clicking, like I mentioned. Maybe better emphasize the list items, again, our image repos. And that correlates with the count and metadata. So like, again, what I was saying here, that this is talking about this. Like, that was not totally clear to me, right? That this is a count of these. I don't know, maybe you can even just group it closer. I don't know. But I like that you do show the count. That's awesome. And then, yeah, just exploring icons again. So we get even more happy here. We had to identify the age of image tags because we want to delete anything that's, I think, older than 2 weeks old. So we open that image repo. We're viewing this published date, right? And optionally, we can click this to learn more information, but I don't think that would be necessary, but that's, I guess, nice you can do. So some of the things here, I think I'd expect to see all this information again within this list. Like maybe I could expand something to view that information instead of going to an entirely new location or page. So just less clicks. And then I could like delete multiple image tags within multiple image repositories at once, like more bulk deletion, I guess. So yeah, like I said, it takes many clicks of drilling down. So I'm drilling down a lot. Like I've drilled down 3 times here. And then latest here is in a title versus the badge that we saw in packages. So that's kind of inconsistent. I don't know why. And I know there's a reason for it, but as a kind of novice user, it might be a little bit confusing that the experience is different. So, maybe we can explore surfacing again that tag information in the list, right? Make it more contextual. Have it maybe expanded by default, this within the tag. So I went in here and I expanded this latest to view more information about it. I don't know, does it need to be collapsed? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. One thing about the icon here that, again, I mentioned that maybe it could be a chevron because it's, expanding, collapsing. It's not showing more like a menu. Ideate on how to make the latest indicators more consistent. Again, like I mentioned, in some places it's a badge, some places it's a title. And then, we ended on a high note that I loved this like bulk deletion experience. He gave many ways to delete, which I think is great. So we went in and we had to delete those selected tags, right, that we identified. So I clicked on the overflow menu of an older tag right here, right? And I clicked the delete option, or you can select many tags if you had them, or up here, right? And then say delete here. And then you have to confirm the deletion versus in that modal again, right? One thing I thought was kind of interesting is then a success like alert banner showed up here and I had to dismiss it. So yeah, as I put here, like I thought that was super helpful, but maybe we could use something like a toast instead. So it's kind of more real time and then it disappears. I'm thinking there's some constraint there, but just as a note. And then clicking on each of those repos again, I had a lot of clicks just to delete these tags, which is not a big deal, but again, what if you just had all the information about tags for each of these repos surface within the list and I could like bulk delete here? That might be interesting. Again, this is a nice one that I like the bulk delete experience. There was a lot of nice ones. I just wanted to focus more on the pain points that we could potentially fix, but this is great. I'll just note that. And then the alert thing, and then also I think this is a bug, but the tag count. Sometimes I would delete the tag here, for example, and then when I went back to the list view, it would still say like 2 tags, even though I had deleted one and it should only be 1 tag. So, and then I would refresh and then it would fix. But you saw that in the walkthrough, but wanted to note it again because I think it's a bug. So that's something to resolve. So again, explore surfacing that tag information. Maybe we could do this bulk delete, like replicate that at a larger scale here within the list. And then ideate on, again, more real-time feedback. So maybe using a toast instead of alert so I don't have to delete the alert. And then also making sure that, things are updated in every page to reflect the actions I just took. So that was a walkthrough. This was great. There was a few things, that held this back from a really high score. You can see this information in Dovetail, if you have access, but in some of the heuristics, I went through and I scored this. You can view this, but most of them fell into visibility of system status, and that got a 3 overall. But there were a few, lower scores across this. So across the board, we ended up with a 2, which is a D. I think if we didn't have the problems around permissions and settings, this would be closer to a 3, or like a C, right? Which is fairly good. It doesn't exceed expectations, but you can get the job done, versus this is more of a a poorer experience, but that's mostly due to those permissions again. I just pulled up the page so we can look at that. So yeah, it went from kind of like an average experience to below average, just because it's very frustrating that I couldn't access some of the features, or I couldn't view some of the data I needed to complete the job as listed. So this would be a D, but I think there's some, like I said, the settings thing, there's a few things that I think can improve this greatly, and I'm really excited to see what y'all do, because I think you're doing a great job so far. So thanks for listening, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.